So the chair that I'm sitting on here, this is the Griots creeper chair, and what I've really enjoyed about this chair is the actual bit that I'm sitting on here. This top is removable. So this is called the mini creeper from Omni Garage. What's really cool is they sell this separately, because when Glenn and I are out here washing cars together, typically one of us is on a chair and the other one is on an old beer crate. So what we've been able to get here from Griots is the mini creeper, which is essentially the top of the full creeper chair, but available to purchase separately. So you know how much this costs?
$39.99 USD from the Omni Garage website. So that is just the seat. You can buy it as a kit where they have a little pad, like a, I don't know if it's a leather pad, but a little cushion that goes on top. And I think that's $59, so I think that's $60 US.
Okay, so pretty affordable. So you can either get it in the full chair we've got here, we did a full video on this, or, as Glenn said, you can buy this standalone. And basically what you get in the box here, it's pretty simple, is nothing left there. It is this. So it is just a mini creeper chair, super low to the ground. You've got some reasonable casters on there. I don't know what those are, maybe 2-inch casters. And
sort of similar to the bucket dollies that we have.
Yeah, what's extremely handy about this, I mean, is just look at the height difference. So when you're working on things really low down on the car, an example for us is either washing the wheels, or maybe when you're just going around and doing some general maintenance and needing to, you know, inflate your tires. What we do find on some of these chairs, the Griots chair, the Viper chair, you're quite high here. So this is great when you're working wheel arches, the top of the wheel, but you do have a lot of bending to get down to the lower sections here. When you're working some of these areas of the car as well, you know, this is great. You know, when you're polishing, you're up kind of this height. What do you do when you get down here without kind of either sitting on the floor or bending your back? Well, you use the mini creeper. So the mini creeper sits a couple of inches off the ground, and what you can do now is you've got yourself nice and low. And I think the thing that I enjoy most about this is that, yeah, I could crouch or sit on the ground to work an area like this, but then I'm constantly having to
running away from you.
That's all right, it can go. That's not going to damage anything there. Lockable wheels, which aren't in play.
Well, that's also got lockable casters as well.
It does. So right here, you've got the ability to go and lock a wheel. I don't think it's something you really need to do too much with this, because your feet are so low to the ground, they're always on the ground, right? So you kind of will just end up maneuvering yourself around like this. And I think this is the benefit to this chair here, is that if you're sitting on the ground, you're going to be picking yourself up and moving yourself and repositioning. Whereas with this here, you can just kind of move yourself around the car. Really good for working all of these lower areas. I mean, when we're polishing a car, these kind of areas are pretty annoying. Yeah,
you're sitting on the carpet, you're trying to put your feet underneath the car or something like that, but on that you've just slightly higher off the ground. You can move around, so you can scoot over to get your polish, or you can scoot over to get your towel, and you can come back, and it's sort of a little bit, I don't know.
Well, even when you're working in an area like this, if you're sitting on the ground, right, so let's say you're polishing and you're polishing this area here. If you're sitting on the ground, you are very much moving your arms and twisting your back to go around this area. Whereas on the chair, as you come around this area, you can just scoot yourself and be moving that polisher along and then bring yourself back. So I think this chair is pretty indispensable. What we're going to do, we're going to clean the wheels on this car here. One of us will sit on the chair, one will use this, and we'll kind of just show you this in action. Obviously, I think this is handy for polishing, wheel cleaning, general maintenance.
It gets you to a height that is lower than your typical Viper chair, your other creeper over there, your typical detailing chair. It just gets you really low to the ground and allows you to be a little bit mobile. And so I think that's super good. I mean, the pad would be nice too, because you could then put your knees on it, right?
It would.
I mean, you can try and put your knees on that, but it's a hard plastic. It's got a bit of a grip-like texture to it, and I think it's a little sore for the knees. But if you had the pad, that would also help out there.
That would alleviate that. I mean, what I like about this though is it's hardened plastic, so you can get this as dirty as you want, and you can spray this off. You can clean this out. You know, you could be cleaning wheels, get brake buster, get any of your wheel cleaner on that. You just rinse it off at the end of the process, let it dry. Something that you wouldn't necessarily be doing with a
or if you had the 2-in-1, you can then clip that on and off.
Correct. So we'll show you that maybe toward the end, but let's get these wheels cleaned and kind of show you this in action. So I've delegated So I've delegated Glenn to wheel cleaning duties down here.
That is a horrible mixture of brake dust you've got in there.
Oh, we're trying a new combination in there. We'll save that for another video, but got to experiment to figure out what the best process is. So typically, when you're cleaning a wheel, how would you be sitting right now?
I'd be sitting on a chair about this high.
Yep.
And, well, let's get it. I'll show you how I'll be doing it.
Sounds like a Formula 1 car up there.
It'll be like a bike, like a
Yeah.
Kawasaki Ninja or something. So this is how typically we'd be doing it, right?
Yep. So you're sitting on that chair.
Relatively close. And you're at the wrong height. You're at sort of this knee height and you're doing the bend over thing. And for the most part, it's comfortable, right? For the most part, we've done this for 5 years or so. And it's totally fine.
Well, it's fine when you're working the upper section of the wheel or you're working the wheel arches. But I really think that Mini Creeper comes into its own when you're working the lower sections. And the best thing is, if you buy the Creeper, you get the Mini Creeper on top. If you've already got, a chair.
Yeah, so you're getting like a 2-for-1, right?
You do. But if you've already got a chair that gets you to that height, then you can buy the standalone.
I mean, I'm at the perfect height now. I think that this product is an underrated detailing product.
Yep.
You don't see a lot of videos on it. I've never seen anyone really talk about it, but I'm up close, personal.
Well, just the ability to scoot around on that wheel. I think it's a small price to pay for a bit of comfort.
Well, not only that, but when I'm here,
Yes.
and I'm detailing, or I'm polishing, or I'm wiping on some ceramic coating or whatever, this is why I think this is good. You can't do this on a normal chair.
So you've had this chair for a couple of weeks in your garage now, so how have you kind of found yourself using it?
Wow, see, this is where it really shines its own. The footprint of that bigger chair is quite large.
Yep.
The footprint of my Viper chair is even bigger again. Now, I've got a smaller garage, I've got 2 pretty decent sized cars in there, and I can't get that chair in between the 2 vehicles. So if I had that chair, I've got the big, the round foot thing there, and I can't actually get in between. So this is like the same size as my butt, which means that I can get in between, narrow parked cars and all that kind of stuff. So I think...
So you've just been using it for just general detailing?
General detailing, cleaning wheels, putting on tyre dressing.
Yep.
Getting in between the 2 vehicles parked very closely in the garage. So yeah, I've got the full catalogue now. I've got the very cheap small Creeper, I've got the very expensive Viper chair, and I've got the Bear Crate. And I think this is the product that I'm going to be using most of the time. Bear Crate's got no wheels on it, and it's also a little too high.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen the review on the full Griot's Garage chair that we did on the channel, you wouldn't have seen this. So what we got on top here, it looks like the top of the chair, but if you pull it off, it's your Mini Creeper. So it just comes off like so, and then you can use this, wheel around on the ground. When you finish with it, you pop it back on top here, clip it back on, and then you've got your chair set up again to work higher sections. So save some space in the garage as well. You don't have to have 2 separate chairs, and it's just super easy. I mean, that just pops off just like that. I think that this is so underrated. As you said, like, you don't see this very many channels or very many detailing shops. This is something that I've had for a short while now, and I would find really difficult to part with this.
So that's it from Omni Garage. Thanks for watching. Give us a like, comment if you've got one of these, or comment if you've got any other solutions that get you this close to the ground. But so far, very underrated detailing product. I love this. This is going to replace a lot of my chairs, and I've got both extremes of the scale. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.